Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Infinite Crypto Cruisers. Hey there, folks. This is Brad Varnell, and this is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel. And today we have an amazing show for you. I am so excited to introduce four incredible guests that are going to weigh in and give us their Bitcoin price prediction for 2025. Man, we're going to have a great show. Thank you so much for joining us. And without any further ado, let's introduce the guests. We've got Crypto Lifer. We've got Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto. We've got Army Piper from the Piper Academy and Alex O with us today from AlexOCrypto. Real quick, folks, I just wanted to thank you all for being here and just say a real fast prayer before we get into the video. So with that, folks, I just want to say, Lord, Father in heaven, thank you, God, for bringing this group of men together. Thank you for helping us to all get here safely. God, please help us to impart some amazing wisdom and help to change people's lives during this video, Lord. We were talking a little bit before this stream, and we really all here are believers that crypto can change the financial needle in people's lives and give them some much needed respite, a safety net that can help them with their lives. So Lord, just bless us with our words today. Help us to have a fantastic stream. We thank you, God, for all that you do in our lives. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Without any further ado, guys, let's get into this this segment. This is an important topic. We know that right now and for the next year and a half, and I'm actually interested in hearing that perspective from you guys. Like, how long do you think people have to really take advantage of the storm that is coming? And so, I'm going to ask these gentlemen a few different questions today, get their point of view on the market and what they think about Bitcoin. And I'm excited to hear what they feel like is coming in the market and enjoy listening to them. So without any further ado, we're going to bring AlexOCrypto, man. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Infinite Crypto. Brad, thank you for having me on, man. God bless. Thank you. This is going to be great, man. This is a full lineup of people with probably different opinions, but like-minded as well, wanting to help others, create that financial wealth through crypto and through good community, right? I know a lot of these people in this group here are all looking to help, right? There's a lot of maybe scammy kind of things going on in crypto, but I know for certain that these people are here to help and they want to see other people create that generational wealth that we all deserve.
Absolutely, man. Well, thank you for being here. And so one of my first questions is, what do you think, or when do you think we are going to see or revisit Bitcoin's previous all-time high? Up until a very short period of time ago, I would have bet a lot of money that we wouldn't revisit it until after the halving. Right now, I don't know what I think, but I would love to hear what you think on that subject.
For me, yeah, of course. I think we're right there, right? We're just about hitting 62,000 as we speak right now. We got, what is it, 13% on the way up here to all-time highs. So this is an incredible time to be in crypto. If you want to share my chart, we can jump over to that right now and we can take a look at what I'm looking at just to kind of have an idea, because all of us, I think, in general speaking, we know about this four-year cycle, and we just got our ETF, and since the ETF, I believe we're up like almost 50%, right? So this is incredible, and we have the halving coming up, which means a shortage of supply. We're going to 450 Bitcoin rather than 900, and they just keep gobbling this up, right? So with timing and this year, I believe it's going to be sooner rather than later. I don't think they're going to give us an opportunity. Yes, we do typically, if we go back in cycle history, we typically get that, correction. If we go from highs to lows, we typically get that 40%, with the outlier being here. We all know what that was, but we do know that we do typically get a correction. So what would, I always ask, what would Larry Fink want for his customers now, right? Because we have a whole different ball game. Yeah, this time is different, comes around quite often, but me looking at this right now, we can see that this is parabolic, right? Like if we just get a curve going on here, we can see that this is parabolic, and any kind of retrace is a time to buy up until we're really proven otherwise. Yes, Bitcoin does move quite dramatically, but we can definitely see we're not far away from that all-time high. So for me, I think it can happen before the halving, which is around April 20th. Okay, just in case any viewers are new. So it's going to be around that time. Sometimes it takes a day or two within that range, but that's where we're aiming for. So we could chop sideways here. We could wick up and grab some liquidity. It's very, very dependent on what's going on in the markets right now. And to me, it looks like a supply shock. So I think it could happen before the halving right now.
Okay. Do you think, would you be surprised if we saw it in the next few days?
Sunday close? I mean, you go check out CryptOAlexO. It's got the best Sunday close show around, man. I always enjoy that on a Sunday evening. Watching Lifer in his Sunday close video. That's probably my favorite Lifer show. Because I'm typically with family on a Sunday evening, but you know the man over there. He's always showing up every single day. So that's the one.
And then, you know, the main question that everybody is here for is, what is your 2025 Bitcoin price prediction? What do you think it's going to peak at? And roughly, you know, you don't have to give us an exact date, but roughly when do you think, you know, that peak price is going to happen?
Okay, so for me, if we go over the charts, I've gone through this before, and I love fibs, and I love how they can help us predict the future. You know, I always love that. And for me, looking at my chart here, if we switch over to my chart, looking at the previous cycle, I've pulled the swing high to swing low on the previous cycle up to this 3618 level, which basically gave us our first top. Okay, and for me, I think this first top was the real top. Okay, with this run up, you can see, and yes, we got Elon Musk playing around here on Saturday Night Live, but we have come down, and we can see that we have moved back into this cycle. So my top price prediction, and this is the same, I've stuck to my guns, right, is definitely around 212,490, around this area here. So my conservative is about 105,000, but the way we're going right now with the ETH ETFs probably in May, US election coming out, and the amount they're going to be spending, I mean, right now it's pretty it's pretty parabolic. And like, for me, I don't want to spread FUD, and I don't want to give anybody any ill-conceived notions of like, oh, you should buy now. Like, for us, we always preach DCA, buying dips, waiting for a possible correction at the Bitcoin halving, where we could see something where we get a little bit of a liquidity grab before we end up on that parabolic run. But my conservative is definitely around 105, and that is typically, I'm thinking end of January. Latest is November of 2025. So there's a window here where we can see maybe a run up, a blow off top like before, or we can just see a straight run up all the way there. But the cycle seems to be coming earlier, so we are prepared. And I have a selling plan that if we get up to certain levels, I'm taking 20% out, I'm taking 50% out, and then I have sort of like a moon bag for any astronomical prices. But I'm always going to be holding on to at least a couple Bitcoins. So that's where I'm at for my price prediction, and hopefully we get there.
Awesome, man. So if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the peak could come as early as January of 2025, but you also kind of hedging your bets there, saying that it could take as long as November 2025.
November. Yeah, exactly. And I know that's a big window, but it's how I plan to get out, right? Because I'm always going to be holding Bitcoin, but it's with those alts and the run-ups that we get that typically lag, right? So if we see the rotation from Bitcoin to ETH to alts, and we get that run up, right? We could be selling our Bitcoin, you know, let's say March of 2025, but we could be selling our alts come November, right? Depending on how the cycle performs and how the rotation of capital goes into certain other coins.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you bringing that up, because that's such a huge thing, the way that the money flows. And, you know, you're going to see the run up in Bitcoin a lot of times before you see altcoin season. And so, folks, that's one of the reasons that we're doing this show, is to give you guys little bit of ammunition, if you will, so that you can go out and tackle this extremely bullish market that we are right in the middle of. All of us here on this channel believe that you can change your life over the next year, year and a half financially, and put you and your family in a position where, all of this, money printing and inflation and interest rates, if you have enough money, none of that affects you anywhere near as much as it does people that are struggling and living
Absolutely.
paycheck to paycheck. And that's why we're here. So last question, Alex, real quick, if you had to put all your money down on one altcoin and ride that pony all the way to the finish line, other than Bitcoin and Ethereum.
I love Kaspa. Okay, I'm gonna give you three. Okay, I love Kaspa. And thank you so much, Army Piper, for putting me on to Kaspa. But I also love the way Injective has been performing. So for me, it's a balance between knowing what's running. So Kaspa has a great narrative. Injective has a great GameFi narrative. And then for my final pick, it's definitely either a fetch AI or a render that I'm looking to ride out and let those go. Because look at when NVIDIA printed those earnings. I mean, my render bag's doubled, right? So it's pretty crazy to see the AI narrative play out the way it has. So I'd be dabbling in those kind of three coins.
So, man, what an incredible, Bitcoin price predictions from these three guys here. I appreciate all of them. And now we want to get to, the last person on this panel. This gentleman probably doesn't need much of an introduction. Most of you probably know him very well. But this guy is an incredible man of God, just incredible family man, and has a heart for helping people. And on top of that, he's done the work and he spent years honing his craft. And he's one of the most successful traders that I've ever come across in cryptocurrency. So without any further ado, Sam, get up here and introduce yourself. Maybe tell us just a little bit about you, and then we'll get into the questions.
You make me cry, man. I remember when I was just a guy wearing Levi's jeans on a night shift, you know what I mean? Looking at crypto late at night. But that's what crypto can do for you. It can change your life, man. Thank you so much for having me here. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's an honor. Thank you for being here. So, just like with the other guests, let's start off with, when do you think Bitcoin is going to bust through that $68,000 barrier, so its previous all-time high? When do you think that might happen?
Honestly, sooner than later. I'm in a trade right now that, and literally the other night I was in a trade at 57,000. I went to bed, and I'll share my chart for a second. It's funny how TA will just it's not logical. What I mean by that is you'll see a measured move, and many times in my life, I've seen a measured move that's just not logical. And the next morning we hit. So I don't question measured moves ever again. So if we go back in time here to here, and I'm a simple guy. I trade flags over and over again with low stochastic. It's the beautiful way to trade. If you ever, and I play off the 21-day moving average. But so look, you see this flag here. I was going to bed that night. I was like, that's a nice little flag. I took the length of the pole, right? And it said, hey, you're going to 64,000. And it was 57. I went to bed that night. And I told my whole group, I see 64K. I went to bed. I opened the trade. I said, I'm in. I'm going long, right? And of course, right, it hit 64,000, right? This has happened to me so many times in my life that I don't question the measure moves anymore. They just do what they're supposed to do. Your brain will get in the way, your emotions will get in the way, So I did the same thing right now, and I'm really good at finding the algorithmic measured move. I don't know why. You just start figuring it out. But I've always found I find now after years of doing this, it takes the wick to whatever wick it can find. These bots, this is what the bots do. So the bots are trained to take an algorithmic wick range. And I'm telling you, this is what they go, bink, bink. They consolidate, they bring it back up to the next range, right? And so it's very likely that we see a $76,000, $76,000 Bitcoin. My target's somewhere right up in there, 76, 77,000. And these wicks kind of tend to hit the time pretty well. That told me we were going to do it by the 28th, and it said that on the 28th, it said it was going to happen literally by the next day. It said it was going to happen pretty fast. This says it's going to happen by the 3rd or 4th. something's brewing this weekend, and I'm seeing the 4 hour and the 1 hour. And again, I could be wrong, right? I'm open-minded that anything is possible, but I'll be honest. I think it's by St. Patrick's Day, the way the charts convey that we are going to be at an all, because they're buying so much, and you have to think about it. What are they doing? They're buying for their customers. And Bank of America came out. It's just like selling burgers, right? You had McDonald's, then you had Burger King. Now you got Five Guys. I could open up a burger shop tomorrow and probably do pretty well if I believe in myself and I market it well enough, right? So if we are all financial guys, we want to have that ETF. We have to have it. We have to have it. If people are asking us for Bitcoin and we say we don't have it, they're going to close their accounts and they're going to go to somewhere else. Fidelity. So if you don't offer an instrument in Bitcoin, you're done. You're done. You're cooked at this point. And so more institutions now have to come and buy and get in the game, and they have to buy. And so I just don't see this inflow stopping. I just don't. It doesn't logically make any sense. And then they're going to have less to buy in a month because of the halving. So that kind of puts a fire under their butt. And I'm not a logical guy. I like to look, not logical. When I come to chart price action, I just look at the charts, because getting into the philosophy can get you messed up. This is a bull flag. That bull flag breaks out 68% of the time. So I have a narrative that makes sense, and I have my own speculative statistics around here. This is telling me, like, it's very likely when this show ends and when you put it out, I don't know when it comes out, but it's very likely Monday, the weekly candle close, like Alex said, like this, like we're breaking through the 64 and likely on our way to the $75,000 level. And again, I could be wrong. There is some bearish div. But today we should have dumped. We did not. We got bought back up. We do have to break above 62,300. That's going to be a key, 63,000. Or what is this key level that I want? This level right here, 62.7. But once we break 62.7, we'll hit that high, and then it's kind of gone from there. There's no resistance either on the weekly chart. So I think in very, very short period of time, we'll be at well into the $75,000 region. And I could be wrong.
Right. Unbelievable, man. What an incredible prediction. As I mentioned earlier, having been through a couple of these bull cycles, this one is unlike anything that we've ever experienced before, for sure. Kind of on a different topic and just kind of out of the blue, I'm always waiting for the powers that be that want to manipulate the market. And a lot of the guys that have been manipulating the market over the last few years, I keep thinking that they're going to want one more huge correction to not only be able to slurp it up themselves, but also to be able to scare, as many people out of the market potentially as possible. Do you feel like maybe we don't have to worry about that as much anymore as we used to?
So, yeah. And I can be very critical, and I don't mean to be rude, but some things I say will be tough love, right? I really don't use the word I feel, right? So like what I feel really doesn't matter. I'm going to be watching the 200 SMA on the 4 hour time frame. If we break it, then I'm going to start looking for a correction. If we come, then I'm going to look for, I've stopped, like, I'll be honest, you're going to make so much money when you just completely only look at what the charts say. Maybe they do a big shakeout. Maybe they don't. I don't really care. I don't think about it. To me, it's a waste of my mental energy. I'd rather look more of how close we are to the 200 SMA on the 1 hour. That makes more sense to me, right? Because we can't dump unless we lose the 200 SMA on the 1 hour. And then we can't go even further unless we lose the 200 SMA on the 4 hour. We can't go to these places that I'm speculating in my mind unless we lose these key areas. So I don't really I want to entertain your thought, but to me, it's really all about the levels in the chart. Like we break 60K, then I'll look at 58. We break 58, then I'll think of 54. And so I don't even entertain that idea. Like I'm looking just at the technicals, and whether they do or don't, I'll be able to figure it out. The charts will tell me. All I need to do is just really stay focused and disciplined on the charts, So I don't know what they do. Honestly, I know nothing to factor my own ignorance. I don't think, feel, or believe about the charts per se. They could. I'm just going to, right now, it's unlikely. I'm seeing move to the upside. We're breaking above key resistance. We'd have to break below key supports, and I'm not seeing that right now. So I just take it every 6 hours, one step at a time. Yeah.
Fair enough, man. So the second question was, what do you think the peak price of Bitcoin is going to be during this cycle? And roughly, when do you think we're going to see that peak?
All right. So I did someone asked me for the price prediction for FET and AGIX today. And whenever I do that, it's like a big in-depth thing. Like I can't just go, oh, blah, 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 and I had to kind of build the case for a $10 trillion market cap. That makes a lot of sense right now. So let me present something real quick. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, all right. So when I got a pi cycle chart here, sat with this old guy from Spain 3 years ago, and we used to sit on the weekends and he would teach me pi cycle. And I figured I'd want to learn, and he taught me a lot, man. And he broke it down, and he basically told me, like, we're going to top out when these lines cross. And so I knew in the last rally that these are topping points, right? When these lines cross. So, and it's been right every time. And every time I defied it, I've been, it's hit me. So even here, I love what Alex said. I believe this was the real top. Then they printed money and it created a false sense. That was just the money printing and all the checks they gave, right? And so we had to see, they had to go somewhere. We should have had a nice long bear market like this. That was weird. You know what I mean? And that's what threw me off, because I started this actually, I lost like a little 80 grand here because I unloaded into like speculative alts at this point, thinking that we were going to go on some other really random rally. You know what I mean? I was up anyway. It was fine, but I bought a half a Bitcoin at 32,000. That took me a long time to get back into break even, right? But the thing is, it's like I kept looking when that crossed. I knew that was our top, and I made a video about it. You can find it online before it happened. Like I put the video out around here, and I said, this is where the top will be. This is how we'll get out, right? It's such a great video because I actually basically showed you exactly where to sell in the last rally. But yet again, we got sucked back in. We made a lot of money here. I got into Phantom at this was a really good rally. So granted, it happened. So I'm looking for these lines to cross. All right. Number one, I'm looking for us to get above key areas in the pi cycle, right? To me, and I also look at kind of, I like the stock to flow. I still kind of keep stock to flow. All right. And the stock to flow is this black line here. What the stock to flow does, and everyone like hates on plan B a little bit, but what it does a pretty good job of showing you where the bottoms are going to be at the beginning of rallies, right? So like here, it said like there was going to be your bottom. You're going to rally back up, bottom, rally back up. And so you usually rally into the red area, right? Now, if we rally into the red area, we're going to be into the $379,000 Bitcoin, right? Now, again, I am in the rate of that like diminishing return kind of thing. But at the same time, you have some of the biggest institutions gnawing at a price action that's going to become less, that's getting less, and, that's becoming more and more scarce. It's hard to kind of to pick the top here, in my humble opinion, but I'm under the impression that we're going to definitely go over somewhere 220 to 280, and if we hit 325, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? I think we're going to go higher than people realize, even me, because before I came on the show, I thought I was going to say like 150, 160, but honestly, like I really like when I really break this down and see how much money is coming in, I see a triple up from 70,000 makes sense to me. $210,000 somewhere there. And I'm never selling Bitcoin. I'm not. Like, I'm going to keep it in hardware wallets and give it to my kids. I'm going to use it as collateral for real estate. I will sell all my altcoins. So I don't really stress the amount of Bitcoin. I don't really stress the Bitcoin price. I got in around $1,000. Like, I don't see it going there again. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be selling it, but I will be looking like if we get in, it's going to be tough, everyone. One thing I will tell you, have a number to get out. Alex also said, I think someone else said here, have a number to get out at. I really want to buy like a $2 million house. When my account gets up to a certain level, yeah, the market may have more to give, but give yourself something. Everyone waits for the market to give them more, and then they watch the market and they never get what they wanted out of the market, right? Get what you want out of this market. If it keeps going, so be it. You know what I mean? It's the hardest thing to do. But if you write down, where do I want to be? What number will save me? I got saved 3 times and had to go back to work. You know what I mean? I made $250,000 when I was working a night shift 5 years ago, and watch it go all the way back down to 60 grand, and then kind of threw it in some Bitcoins. And then, had I really sold there, I would have had 100 grand in the account and the Bitcoins. I would have been able to quit my job a lot quicker. So don't do what I did. You know what I mean? Take advantage of the market when it gives you your way out. Like, put a number down and get out. Please, like, I'm begging people, get out, write a number down. I don't care where the market keeps going, because we're all going to try to figure out where it's going to go, and we're all going to try to pinpoint it. No one's going to be exactly right.
Absolutely. And so does your chart give you any idea of when you think that peak of the 220 to 280 is going to happen?
Generally speaking, it's the 18 months after the halving, right? This looks like an accelerated area, and we have a lot of altcoins too. I could see Bitcoin rev up, And it would make sense to me, like we could get the high around 2020, like April or May of 2025. You know, that summer we peak, and Ethereum could pump, and the alts could pump until like October and November, and then that's usually it's that January where, I don't know if you guys remember, but those Januaries at the end of a bull run, it's usually, you get 1 week in January where there's just like, oh, people think, and then it's usually just that's it. You know, one thing I do say too is, like, people call us experts or we look at charts. I love Niels Bohr quote. He says an expert is simply just someone who made every mistake in a narrow field, right? So when you look at us charting and looking great, and I've made all this money and I'm a great trader, just remember, like, it came from years of making mistakes, you know?
Absolutely. And then last question, if you had to just kind of ride one altcoin other than Bitcoin and Ethereum through this bull cycle, where would you put your money, and what would you hold, for the next year and a half?
Now, if I didn't own anything right now, that question may be different, but Kaspa is my coin. Like, I'm holding a huge bag of it. I've been accumulating it for over a year and a half now. When I knew about it when it was about to hit a penny, it's now up like 15x or more. Some people are up 100x from when it was like lower than a penny. It's a great project. It's proof of work. I'm old school. I come from, bricklayers and iron workers. Proof of stake still gets me a little, like, I like to see the fact that we're using the machines to mine. I love that about Kaspa. And honestly, it's super fast. It's amazing. All the smartest minds that have researched it have given it an A++ rating, from Da Vinci to me, to anyone that's been in crypto for a long period of time. They're calling it Bitcoin silver, even though that's Litecoin, but it's really the silver to Bitcoin. Look into it, jump into it. I think once you find out what Kaspa really does, how fast it is, and the team behind it, and its Ghost Egg protocol, you're going to be blown away.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you being here. I know you're a busy man, and appreciate you taking the time. I'm sure that we'll definitely have you back on the show again in the not too distant future.
Now, God bless you. I love your story. I love your journey, and I'm happy to be a part of it, Brad. Bless your family, man. Thank you.
Thank you. So, man, what an incredible show so far. I am really excited to introduce the next guest. This gentleman runs a YouTube channel called Piper Academy. And man, this guy has just come onto the scene with a fury, has gone to multiple thousands of subscribers in a very short period of time. And it's because he knows what he's talking about when it comes to these cryptocurrency markets. Him and his team have really added a lot of value to their community. And I am really excited to have you on the show, man. And I really thank you, Army Piper from Piper Academy. Thank you for being here, man. Welcome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here, and blessed to be among all these fine gentlemen over here. I appreciate you having me here, man. And shout out to all of the alumni. They are the reason that we've had success. They've found an interest in what myself and my team do. And I got a great team, Crux of Crypto and TradeFly and OC guys, ETS Rhythm. Like, they're behind the scenes and sitting next to me as co-host, and 100% owe a lot of credit of the show's success to those guys and their hard work. So
awesome, man. Well, just like with everybody else, let's get right into the questions. I'm enjoying everybody's, got a little bit different point of view, which is fantastic. Show wouldn't be anywhere near as much fun if we all agreed on everything, right?
that's true. That's very true.
So, what are you thinking with this, with this peak, or with the Bitcoin price prediction for when it's going to break through its previous all-time high? What do you got in mind? What are you thinking?
Well, if you pull up my chart here, I've got this is a Fibonacci channel that everyone that knows me knows I run with this thing. It's a Fibonacci channel on logarithmic, running the entire history of Bitcoin on Bitstamp. And, previous cycle highs here, we came in, touched the golden pocket for its bottoming of that cycle. We came into the next one during the Roro cat crash there. We came down, touched that golden pocket, bounced right off out of it. And then this cycle here, a little bit different because, of course, we had a lot of economic stuff going on. We came in here, we hit inside the golden pocket for about 2 months, and then we lost it. This is where we had our bottom out here after falling out of that, riding right above the platinum pocket on the 786. Well, right now, if you take a look at what we got going, we're coming back into the golden pocket right now. If we punch into the golden pocket. Once you get inside of a golden pocket, that 786, I mean that 618, then you typically are going to go to the top there of your golden pocket. Looking at the top side of that, it's $76,000 right now. For next week, there'd be about $76,000 to be at the top of that golden pocket. So I would say if we are able to punch this weekly candle in here, definitely going to be watching on Sunday live for Sunday candle close, because if we can get this weekly candle close here inside of this golden pocket, I would be watching for the next week or so for us to come up and break that top. I'm thinking if this breaks through into the golden pocket, we're looking at the next 2 weeks that we go and retest that previous all-time high. So
unbelievable. I think I'm still the only guy, and I gotta, Sam's got me thinking about that word feel. Man, I think I'm the only guy that still just can't believe that we're going to break into new all-time highs before the halving even happens. It's an incredible time to be alive in crypto, man. Thank you for that. And then the second question is, what do you think the peak price of Bitcoin is going to be in 2025, or whenever you think that's going to be? So, what do you think the peak price is going to be, and roughly when do you think that's going to happen?
So first, you got to look at the historicals to look to the future, right? You got to look to the past to see the future sometimes, and it doesn't always, rhyme exactly. But there's a lot of repeats in there, right? So if we take a look here, I have horizontal fibs running on here on top of the diagonal channels, and what it's really doing is just looking at candle close bottom, top to bottom, right? And then it runs over there, and then you got 3 phases in here. Phase 1. Phase 2 is when it's between that 50% and then up to the top of that golden pocket there. And then phase 3 is once it breaks out into that above that golden pocket. If we take a look at what happened in the first cycle, you can see we came down, candle closed perfectly on the golden pocket before we ran up. So there's that one first. Go to the next cycle. You can see the same thing, measured the same way. We had this, we did go into a phase 2 and phase 3 and then pull back into a phase 2 on this cycle. But I think that this cycle looks a lot more like first cycle, not the last cycle. But on that one, once it did break out of that post halving there, we got out of that Corona scare that had the entire market shook. We come back, we test that golden pocket, and that is where we also have our run up. This cycle looking more like the previous cycle before that one. If you take a look at what we have here, and I can throw on the alt scenario, there we go. This is going to be the scenario where we came from the bottom, we hit our golden or phase 2 here and got into the golden pocket. If you actually look at what happened here, and everyone likes to talk about the pullback, right? If you actually look at what happened here, we had a perfect rejection off the 786. We came back and retested the bottom of the golden pocket on the 618 and had a 22% pullback. That is very possible, very possibly could be the 40%, 50% pullbacks that we talk about historically. But the difference is now it was only a 22% because we have a much tighter floor in the markets now because of the demand of institutional money. When you look at the fact that you've got 9,100 Bitcoin being for demand, and you're only producing 900 from the miners, that's a 10 times greater demand from institutional buying pressure than what they're even able to produce. And there's one thing I want to show on this chart. If I bring this up, this down here is the hash rate ribbon. If you look at the hash rate ribbon history here, it's always been where they come together and they cross and they come down, right? It's never gone flat. I want you to see what happened here on this hash rate ribbon. And literally, if you look at the date here, it started January 1st. What happened the first week of January? Institutional demand from ETFs. We've never gone flat like this, above, just sitting, running flat, no chance of crossing, running sideways since January 1st. This is miners at max capacity, and there's no pullback because if they shut off a miner, that is one less Bitcoin being bought. Every Bitcoin they are producing is being snatched up by institutional money. I think the 21% pullback that you saw here is your former 40%, 50% pullbacks that we had before without institutional demand grabbing it up as soon as it drops.
Wait, can I just give me an epiphany too? Because that's going to create the miners maybe not to want to sell, right? Because they're going to be like, well, if the demand's so high, the price is going to go up. Why would I sell? So it's going to also create more miners that not want to give it up.
Have the most
oh my God, it's going to get crazy.
Yeah, I think we're going to have the most unique events occur in Bitcoin history over the next 12 months. I think it's going to blow people's minds how much demand there is. And let's remember, we're at 10x demand right now. Here in about 50 some odd days, that 10x demand becomes 20x demand because the miners produce half of what they are right now. It's going to be insane. So yeah, I'm thinking based on this, and if we look at what happens here, I got some dates here to lay out. It usually going back in history from the peak top where we from the top where we came back and touched the last peak. So you can see here the price here got up to what it was at its all-time high, right, on the previous cycle. Here we came up. Here's where that price comes in and matches to the all-time high. Because we're a little bit front ran right now on the running into the halving and where we are price-wise in comparison, I'm looking at it from two perspectives. One, at what point do we hit our last all-time high? And I think that's going to be in the next week or two, based on the fact that it was 350 days from meeting the previous all-time high to its new all-time high here, and it was 343 days. We kind of have a ballpark to measure off of. If we go out 350 days from about when we think that we're going to cross this line on price, that would put us about February 2025. That's scenario one. If it is in that cycle there, I believe that we're going to be somewhere in the realm of about $275,000 to $155,000. If we call that in the median, we're going to look at about $210,000. If we look at it from a perspective, though, that this continues on and we get this normal demand cycle that we get, that would be quarter 3, quarter 4, 2025. We'll go ahead and put that in the ballpark of about October 20th. That would be right there in that window of quarter 3, quarter 4. And if it's that scenario, even putting this in the median cycle, we're looking at about $325,000 coming in between that golden pocket and our 50% ratio on the sequence here of the channel. So I think we have a great cycle regardless of what it is, but when you look at what this cycle could be because of the institutional demand, this might be the most parabolic thing anyone's ever seen on Bitcoin. So strap in. That's all I can say. Strap in.
Man, that's awesome. This big smile on my face is because I just can't believe it's coming true. I've been in this market since about late 2017, so I got to experience a month or two of that bull run from 17 to 18. Thought that I was going to be wealthy during the year of 2018. Instead, I was coming in right at the peak of the last, of that bull market, and then got to experience, a lot of education, we'll call it, in 18, 19, and 20. And then rode that, euphoric high of the bull run of 20 going into 21. And like a lot of people on this channel, even Sam mentioned it, didn't cash out enough during that cycle, didn't take enough profits, was expecting $100,000 Bitcoin. And so this last couple of years has definitely been challenging in a lot of ways when it probably didn't need to be. And but here we are, man. We made it through the last couple of years. And from the sounds of it, Piper, you're expecting just an absolutely unbelievable next, 12 to 18 months, which puts a big smile on my face. And so, with that, let's go to the last question, which is, what altcoin, if you had to choose something other than Bitcoin and Ethereum to double down on, ride your horse through the finish line on, what altcoin do you like for this bull cycle?
Well, as everyone here has already said, I was calling Kaspa at 4 to 4.5 cents and was giving what I called not financial advice. I said, look, this is not financial advice, but I'm telling you, if you don't pick up Kaspa right now at 4.5% or 4.5 cents, you are going to miss out. And literally from like a week later, it just rocketed. So Kaspa, 100%. We just had a video that dropped on Kaspa, giving a deep dive on it. I think blockchain or BlockDAG is the new blockchain. I think it's got all of the institutional equipment that it needs to be adopted by the institutions. It's not even listed on a centralized exchange, a big exchange name yet, and it doesn't even have its smart contracts yet. It literally has the best framework of anything that I've seen in the market. It's got phenomenal decentralization to the trilemma. Its tokenomics were astronomical. They did not pass out any at the launch. You had to get it all going from that point. And even how the exchanges get it, they can't just go and grab it up and buy it. In order for them to have a large supply, they're going to have to mine it. I think that Kaspa is going to be one that moves up into the top 10, possibly the top 5, and it's going to do quite well this cycle. And right now, like I said, up a lot from the 4.5 cents when my community was grabbing it up. So
let's go.
Amazing, man. That's a high, you're the third person on this show that's mentioned that. And so incredible. And it sounds like, I was talking to your boy, Crux of Crypto. It sounds like you guys have a pretty cool Kaspa video that is premiering, sometime soon.
Today.
Yep. Yeah, it actually came out today.
Great.
So yep.
Awesome, man. So I will put the link to that in the description. This video will probably come out after that has premiered. But man, for those of you that are watching the show today, go to the description of this video and check out that Kaspa video. It's going to have some incredible information. And, on that note, let's make sure that everybody watching this video go and like and subscribe to all of these gentlemen's channels. Man, they've created some incredible value here for you today. I've seen how these guys perform during the bull market. Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto has gone through the last bull cycle, and he created a lot of wealth in his viewers' lives. Sam has obviously done incredible things, and now Army Piper and AlexOCrypto are gonna impart knowledge and wisdom. And our whole goal here is to help you create freedom in your lives. We all have freedom to a certain extent in our life because of cryptocurrency, and we really, we have a passion for helping you to do that. So make sure that you follow these guys. Subscribe to their YouTube channels, follow them on Twitter. And, and without any further ado, I've been mentioning, I've mentioned Cowboys of Crypto, Aaron here a few times, but I'm really looking forward to this part of the show, because Aaron and I are a little bit more fundamental guys. We're not big chart guys. And I'm not saying, there's a lot of value in the charts. The longer I'm around crypto, I probably, if I'm being totally transparent, I wish I would have spent a little bit more time on the charts. But the thing that I am a huge proponent in, and I think Aaron feels similar to this, we'll get up here and get his opinion, but I really believe that you just can't lose as long as you get into the market, if you buy and hold. And so the reason that I've never been a huge trader is I don't want to catch myself thinking that we're getting ready for one of those 25 or 40% retracements and sell off a bunch of stuff, thinking that I can buy it back at a later price. And then that doesn't work out for me so well when it keeps going up. And I've had experiences in my life where I've done that and it worked 2 or 3 times, and I actually did increase my tokens. For instance, when I swing trade, most of the time it's to increase my stack, not to increase my fiat. So if I've got, say, 1,000 chain link and it's trading at $20 and I think it's going to go down to 15 or 10, so I sell my chain link. I don't spend that money on life. I wait for it to go back to $15 or $10, and then I buy back in, and now I've got 1,500 or 2,000 chain link or whatever. But I've had a couple of instances where I sold off a token, and then man, it just kept going up, and I was never able to get back into it. So that's kind of one of the reasons why, even though I love the charts and I think they're super valuable, I'm pretty much more like a buy and hold guy. Everything that I own, I'm keeping it probably until Bitcoin gets to 100,000 plus, and then I'll probably start, making my way out of some of, out of some of those tokens. But without any further ado, let's bring Cowboys of Crypto up and kind of see, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, and let's go.
So my name is Aaron from Cowboys of Crypto. Look, I'm going to be the first one to admit I'm the dumbest person on this show right now. I'm lizard brain. I have no idea what these guys are talking about, but I am going to try my hand at the charts today. Brad, I don't know if you know this, but I have been practicing my skills in the charts. I have been, aligning the stars with the fib lines and here's my chart. I kind of drew this up really quick. I don't know if you can see that. This is right here. I see a flaggish bullish pattern. And then don't forget, you can't forget the flag at the top and the ribbons at the bottom. So and then we could circle some of these things and make sure, then it's Christmas time. Then now it's presents for everybody. So that's where I'm at with the charts, and I'm ready to talk some Bitcoin price predictions.
Awesome, man. So
I love it.
On that note, when is Bitcoin going to break through its previous all-time high?
Listen, I came today, clearly knowing that there was people more. You guys have eggheads. You guys are like these brainiacs just trying to do some geometry on some numbers, and I have no idea what you're talking about. But I did go.
Can you not highlight my Charlie Brown dome here, Cowboy? I appreciate it. Thanks.
It's holding a big brain. It's holding a big brain there, Piper. So I'm jealous. I'm jealous of it. The fact of the matter is, when we talk about price predictions and breakouts, I want to go to the people who have the most money. So I have a lot of these influencers and investors here. Carl the Moon, he says that $1.3 million Bitcoin in 5 years. Big Boy Crypto, Ben Armstrong, however you feel about it, here's what he says: 130,000 to 150,000 Bitcoin in 2025. Tim Draper, 250,000 Bitcoin in 2025. Kathy Wood, $1 million Bitcoin. Mark Yusko, $150,000 Bitcoin late 2024. Giovanni, I can't pronounce his name, Santoski, whatever, $150,000 Bitcoin mid 2025. That's a year from now. He also predicts $1 million Bitcoin in 2033. Plan B says that Bitcoin will never go down under $40,000 again. He said this 3 weeks ago in a video. He said, like, of course I could be wrong. So he gave all those disclaimers, but that's what he said. Samson Mao, CEO and founder of Gen3, $1 million Bitcoin in 2024. Cryptos are us. That's George. We're all George. All that stuff that he says. $900,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025. And last one, Peter Schiff. He says that $1 million Bitcoin with dumb money running into it and hyperinflation. Okay, I say all this to explain one simple fact. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. I think it'll be repeated here, and I think everyone will say that we could take predictions, and even still Piper and Alex and I know Sam would say this, is that there's scenarios, right? There's percentages. You don't actually know. So I know for a fact that these guys are busier than a moth caught in a mitten. Okay, they are working like crazy. They read the charts. They got the notifications. Something's breaking out the 4 hour. Look, I ain't got time for that. All right, I know they got time. Sam is crazy. He's always where he's working on Sunday. I don't work Sundays, right? Yeah, I barely work through the week, right? I don't want to do that. The fact of the matter is, when we're talking about Bitcoin price prediction, we're really asking a base level question. The base level question is it too late to buy into Bitcoin? That's the base level question. Can I make money off of Bitcoin? Then we could bring in the time frame and all that. And here's the answer to that. No, it's not too late. It is not too late to buy into Bitcoin. And matter of fact, my personal opinion, a lot of people's other opinions, don't ever sell your Bitcoin. Now you could trade and do all that nonsense. But to me, that's picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, and you might get squished. Some other people are way more savvy. I just don't like the risk. And people don't talk about this, but the work that it takes to balance out, to watch these, these trends or whatever they're looking for. I don't have At first, I'm not smart enough. Second of, I don't have the time to follow up on what's trending or whatever. And third, I don't like the risk. So that's my Bitcoin price prediction. I have no idea. If you really want to get a number out of me, here's the actual number that I would say. Bitcoin has only 2 price predictions, 2 different scenarios. First scenario, it goes to 0. Second scenario, it goes to infinity. And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so.
Awesome, man. I love it. So, do you have, just a gut feeling, not to pin you down on anything, but do you have a price peak that would maybe, do you believe that there's any way that it's not going to break 100, or would you be flabbergasted if it broke 500, or what do you feel like a range that you feel like is going to be pretty likely
Listen,
during this bull market in 2025?
When I poop, it's as cold as a smoothie, and when I vomit, it's only icicles because there's ice in my veins. I'm unfazed. I don't have that, like it's gonna peak here. I had a thought that when Bitcoin crossed 50,000, in my brain I was like, okay, I could see us breaking the all-time highs before the halving. This is not part of the trends. I think this is, when we look back at it, we look back at history. I look at the charts are great for history for me. I don't look at it to predict, but this is one of those things that we're like, okay, maybe it'll break 69 or whatever the all-time high was, but I honestly don't care. And if you're new to crypto, if you're new to this whole thing, if you have a background in trading, okay, yeah, you should listen to these guys. They have more, because trading crypto, as far as I understand, is different from trading anything else. However, if you're new to crypto, I'm assuming that you don't follow all these trades, and you get into it for buying in and seeing if you can make a little money, because hyperinflation is running away. The government's making decisions based for us, and it's affecting our lives. We've got problems with moving money over across different countries. People are trying to move into the United States. People are trying to move out of the United States. People have other people that they need to take around the world. So you got to move money. So there are fundamentals to understand about Bitcoin before you even start understanding or to buying into the price of Bitcoin. If you're looking for the price here from me, you need to get the base level first. You need to understand that first, you need to understand the problem that the government is printing crazy amounts of money. We've printed more money than in the last 4 years than we've ever printed in our entire lives. That right there alone is like, they're saying, and smarter people than me have said this, like Robert Breedlove, Michael Saylor, they're saying that it is slavery the way that the government prints money, because when you take your time and your effort to try to earn that dollar bill, you earn this stupid fiat, and fiat is Latin for declaring that it's valuable, then you are immersing your time and energy into whatever you're doing to earn money that they could just make it on demand. That's a big problem there, and that's why Bitcoin exists, and that's the bull case for Bitcoin, is that they don't control the rules of the game anymore. Is that you vote and opt out of that system. Is that you could transfer this money anywhere you want. I would recommend the Bitcoin Standard if you want to read more about Bitcoin, but I could go off into this. You could go on any video on just YouTube, the fundamentals of Bitcoin, and you'd be doing yourself a huge favor before even entering into the crypto markets.
Fact.
Awesome, man. I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. I love your take. And what you just said about, Bitcoin being an answer to the slavery that our government is putting us through with the ability to print money was beautifully said, man. Thank you so much for that. And then last but not least, if you had to ride your horse on any altcoin other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, and double down on it and go through this this bull cycle that we're getting ready to go through, what altcoin is at the top of your list?
Let me tell you a story. I was in the bull run 2021. I did not know, like I said, I'm the stupidest person in the room. I put my money into crazy things. It's something called Baby Shark Tank, Elon Musk coin. I put it into Doge Musk or Musk Doge or something like that. Dogelon. I put my money in some crazy things, and I literally made 5 figures. I'm like, and then I sold it. I'm like, I don't know. This is the craziest money I've ever seen. Here's my point. I think this bull run and any other bull run like this will yield similar results. I said that I made a bullish case on Bitcoin, but I want to make a greater bullish case on crypto. I know these guys like Kaspa. Kaspa's a fine project. I don't know all the stuff that's going on in that ecosystem, but if it's got this many, if it's got these eggheads involved and smarten it, you should take a look at it. But I'm going to take the opposite approach. Take some money that you are willing to lose, like say just kiss it goodbye, and throw it into meme coins like Pepe and Bonk and whatever. I've seen those yield some crazy things, but if you're not crazy like me, because I just like to get involved in everything, I would say the top games that are trending on CMC, I think I like those. Myself, I like Shrapnel, but I could see Citus going up. So I would say that if you want to like bring yourself to a sane level of investing, but still want to be some degen, go into gaming. I don't think we're getting into a bull run where the greater narrative is that gaming is ruling the roost here. You got major channels pushing it. You got a major narrative behind it. Behind that's probably AI. But right now, gaming, I think, is a major narrative that's pushing. So you really go into any of those gaming coins, and you'll probably do well for yourself. Not financial advice. Like I said, be willing to lose it. I'm a dude in a cowboy hat who's scared of horses. So just be aware of where you're getting this information from, okay? You'll lose your money. So that's my take on that.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you being here. Great having you on the show. Good information, and I appreciate all of you very much. I think we are getting pretty close to the end of our time. Sam had to take off because he had a child to pick up, and there's just no way around it. So he ducked out on us. But thank him for being here. And folks, man, I just want to thank you all for being here. If you have any final last words, Alex, anything that you would like to add to the before we call this a day?
No, I think it's great, man. I'm very grateful for you having me on. It was great to meet you all, and it's going to be a great run, and hopefully just make sure you have a plan. Have a plan. I'd say at the littlest, have a plan of getting in and getting out and trying to make some money for you and your family. So thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Man. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Same thing, Army Piper. Any final parting words?
Yeah, I think Cowboys of Crypto brought up a very valid point about diversification, because in my portfolio, I've got about 39 tokens that I'm working with. And a portion of those is sitting in Bonk, Pepe, and Doge, literally for the meme play. But I've also got my AI section. I've got my gaming section. I've got my Oracle section, like Pith and Chainlink. I've got my layer 2s. Like, understand these different types of blockchain. Identify them, look at the tokenomics, do your research on who the developers are, what their partnerships are, and try to have some slices of pie from each one of those for your whole portfolio. And then, like he said, take that small percentage that you don't care if you lose it and go to the casino with it on some meme coins. Just grab up some crazy stuff, because when it happens, it'll happen fast, and you'll be mind blown on how much that little play can catch up to your bigger plays real quick. So,
amen. And Cowboys of Crypto, any final words?
Hey, I just want to say, guys, go down. Make sure if you're still watching to the end here, visit the different channels on the screen. These guys are fantastic hosts and fantastic YouTubers. I'm very blessed to be a part of them. Thanks, guys, for watching.
God bless you all. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, as Aaron said, man, go smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and go check out all of these other incredible guests and join their channels and their socials. And we will see you in the next video. It's been a blast. God bless. Take care. Have a great day.